Hey Rocky, thanks for your video. I really appreciate the criticism actually because it gives me a chance to reflect upon my own ideas and clarify what I'm really trying to say. Um, so I guess I took some notes. I'll just start at the beginning. You mentioned the myth of Adam and Eve is kind of male-centric and reflects a patriarchal view of the history of our species. Um, but I want to point out that the story as depicted in Genesis is only one version of this myth. In other traditions like Kabbalah, uh, the Platonic tradition, Gnosticism, and others, Adam, the primal human, or the anthropos, is androgynous, neither male nor female, um, and understood to be sort of the ideal, unmanifest human, which exists before the creation of the human being out of the earth, the clay of the earth. And it's only at that point that the original androgynous ideal human being becomes sexed or sexually dimorphic and sort of split such that the essence is now the human is spread between male and female such that there's this conflict. And certainly it's a conflict with, I think one could argue, evolutionary benefit in the long run, because if there was just total harmony, there would be stasis. There wouldn't be any development. But just to point out that this mythology surrounding Adam and Eve isn't necessarily patriarchal or male-centric if we look at the more esoteric strains or interpretations of this myth. And if we look at the fact that it was Eve that first ate of the tree of knowledge, we might say that that means that women were actually the ones who first cultivated this capacity for speech by raising children back at home in the village. And it was in that sort of an intimate, loving, social setting that language first emerged as speech. You wouldn't suppose, I wouldn't think that it arose with the men out hunting, because when you're hunting, trying to kill animals, silence is of great importance. But I don't want to say that language takes precedence over silence. I think actually, as I said in my video response to you, Rocky, that there is no silence as we understand the meaning of that word before speech. Speech kind of allows us to master our sensory experience to a certain extent, such that it's no longer an overwhelming flood of potential meaning, but it's somehow been its meaning has been contained or corralled or lassoed to a certain extent by these vessels of meaning called words and sentences. But of course, if we didn't have these words, if we could even remember what it was like before we could speak, which I think memory has a lot to do with being able to assign certain symbolic representations to our experience. But if we try to imagine what it might have been like prior to language, we didn't ever hear silence. We heard the music of nature, the meaning of the world around us, which was hard to interpret because there's so many possibilities. It's learning to speak which allows us to narrow down the possibilities so that we can get a handle on what we want to say and what we want to hear, rather than just being bombarded by what at first seems like chaos. So at the same time, though, I don't want to say that language can contain all meaning. Vessels kind of carry forward our meaning, but we have to continually, the language as a vessel of meaning carries forward our ideas, but we have to continually give them life by breathing more and more words and sharing more and more with each other. So it's silly to think that there could ever be some final metaphysical system, some final book which could contain all of the necessary truths and laws of nature. From then on, meaning is going to always be evolving, because human beings are going to always continue to be in dialogue with one another, discovering new insights because of certain forms of language that they were sharing. So language cannot contain all meaning. It takes a sort of imaginative leap, as I read Whitehead arguing, in order for our language to capture, at least in some way, what's really going on. So, yeah, see what you think of that. I also posted a link to a paper that I wrote on masculinity and femininity, and leveled a lot of the same criticisms that you were bringing up against Western civilization for being so patriarchal and male-dominated and focused on masculine over feminine ideals. So yeah, maybe you could read that. Let me know what you think, or yeah, give me your thoughts on this video. So yeah, take it easy.